You're here, I'm queer, and welcome back to my channel. For this video, we are going to tackle Cloe, also known as Angel from the Bratz pack. Chloe's the dramatic friend of the group, and she's also the sportiest one out of all of them. It's always so funny when her imagination runs wild, since she always jumps to the wildest conclusions, and I can definitely relate to that myself. Her personality, however, had a major shift in the 2015 reboot when they made her a bit ditzy. They also gave the sporty character to Jade, which I thought didn't fit her at all. But I did appreciate the character design she had, since I thought the pink hair was really cute. She's always been really bubbly, energetic, and nice, and Chloe was actually the first one I designed out of all the 4 girls, so I'm really excited to finally make her into a doll. My vision for Angel is definitely sporty and contemporary street style. She's definitely giving off some cool hype beast vibes with the logo and typography heavy outfit. From head to toe, she's rocking an off-white inspired gray bucket hat that sets the tone for the entire color story. A blue Balenciaga windbreaker layered over a matching gray bandeau and biker shorts, all tied in with a yellow off-white belt. For the shoes, something comfy like the Balenciaga Speed sneakers. You know, the one that looks like socks. I definitely want to merge the original Chloe personality with the 2015 Chloe aesthetics, which is pink hair and freckles. The overall vibe I was going for was Chloe skating from class to class in her college dorm, but also the college is somewhere in Malibu or something. With that being said, let's go ahead and get started with Angel. For our dramatic queen, I will be using this Chloe from the Bratz Collectors by Hayden Williams. The eye makeup that I'm giving her is actually quite similar, just because it's going to be a lot of neutrals, like literally it's going to be browns, but I will give her more of a beachy type of look, since this one has red lips, which is amazing, and I think I'm going to give her a more natural, you know, my version of natural at least. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started, and first let's remove her hair. I actually thought that maybe I can just dye her hair pink, just because obviously it was in perfect condition, but I'm like, that may also dye the actual vinyl head, so let's not do that. Let's not risk it. And if you're wondering why I didn't use the 2015 Chloe, which I do have, the one with the pink hair, it's because their heads are actually a lot bigger than the original Bratz heads for some reason. So I don't know, but clearly they're reverting back to the original heads with Hayden Williams Collectors Bratz, which I'm happy about. And now let's go ahead and remove her factory paint using acetone or nail polish remover. And now let's go ahead and make her wig, and I'll be using this pink acrylic yarn that I got from Michael's, I believe, and I'm gonna kind of show you guys like a refresher on how I prepare my yarn wefts. And I use 2 pet brushes, a metal one and also a plastic one, and this will be the detangler for our yarn. I have this thing that I use to measure my yarn, and I just wrap my index finger as well, just to give it a little extra half an inch there. And so I just wrap it and wrap it and wrap it, and then we just cut it. And I do this at least maybe 6 times. Roughly. I didn't record every single thing, but just so you know, it does take a lot of yarn. And then I take at least 6 to 7 strands of the yarn, and I just wrap it onto this wire hanger, and I just fill it in. And this is where I kind of detangle all of the yarn and how I make my wefts. And roughly, I would say, like I said, at least 4 to 5 wire hanger filled yarn that I use, specifically just because it's a Bratz head and it's a lot larger. And this is kind of like the summary of the 3 steps that I do. As you can see, the first one is untouch, the second one is actually kind of detangled, and over here I'm using my plastic pet brush, and I just brush the yarn out, as you can see, and then the metal one really fine-tunes it. And then we just go hit it with our hair straightener, and you should get something silky like this, and I am pulling it just to really extend the length as well. And there you have it. You just have to do much more. And now this is how I make the actual wefts with hot glue. As you can see, I have a silicone pad and a silicone tip over here, and I just sandwich that all with hot glue. And you just dry it out with my silicone fingertip, and there you have it. It's actually really fast, and I don't mind this process, especially this when you're trying to make it neat and cute and clean. I really like it when the wefts are neatly cut up and stuff, just because it makes it easier to apply to the wig cap. And this is all of the yarn wefts that I have prepared for our Chloe. As you can see, it's a lot. And now let's go ahead and start by gluing it onto the wig cap, one by one. And you want to start from the bottom, and you kind of want to save the front for the end. So make sure you have enough for the front, make sure you have enough for all of the coverings and stuff like that. And just make sure to work your way up. Some people were asking where I got my silicone fingertips, and I actually got them from a local dollar store here in Vegas in their craft section. But I'm sure you can find them online if you type in silicone fingertips or something. But they're so great. I use them to press in the hot glue to make them really flat onto the wig cap without getting burned, of course. And now I'm just gonna go ahead and trim the bottom. I do want this to kind of have a blunt cut while maintaining its length. So I'm trying to be careful just to trim a little bit. And now we're pretty much done with the wig. It's just a regular side part pink wig, and I'll style it a little bit in the end. And now for the body, of course, it's gonna be another hybrid, and this one I will be taking Poppy O'Hare's body from Ever After High. She is lacking the pink undertone that the Chloe head has, but I think it'll still work. Of course, we're gonna go ahead and remove her feet, so I'm over here, I'm just marking the ankles to remove it. And now I'm taking my saw and I'm carefully slicing her ankles off. This saw is actually gonna make a lot of appearances in this video for some freaking reason. I was like, oh my god, I've used this saw so many times. Yeah. And then I'm gonna use a manual drill and also a power drill to put some holes inside her legs. Using the power drill makes it a lot easier, and not to mention, it looks cooler. And look at that, it's satisfying. Oh my god. And oh yeah, there we go. Oh my goodness. Oh my god, that was so, I love that part. After that, let's go ahead and screw in the hanger bolts. By Everbuilt, this is the specifications, and I got it from Home Depot. I'm actually gonna try and trim this. Oh my god, I'm gonna trim middle screws. Yes, that's happening. Just because I don't want it to be too long inside her legs. It can warp the legs and discolor it. So I'm gonna try and prevent that today. So I'm gonna actually hold it with pliers. I'm not gonna have my finger all up in there with a saw. So yes, if you try this madness, be careful. But I'm using the same saw. Apparently it is also used for metal, so here's hoping. And I'm just gonna go ahead and break it with 2 pliers. And there you have it, it actually worked. And so the shorter part, the shorter end, is the one that's gonna go up the ankles. So hopefully it doesn't discolor the legs too much. And that's pretty much it for her ankles. And there is a slight discoloration on the insides of her ankles, which I don't mind because it's not on the outside. But other than that, we're pretty much done with her body modification, I guess. Let's go ahead and move on to her face. And of course, like always, before we draw on the doll, I spray this with 2 coats of Mr. Super Clear or MSC to prime it so we can actually draw on it. Now I'm taking my Derwent watercolor pencil and let's go ahead and begin to sketch out her new eyes. As you can see the mold, you're working against the mold for a Bratz look to work, and I've learned this the hard way. I've had many Bratz attempts and they never look good as a Bratz doll. So you really have to work against the face mold for this. It's so odd, but it works so well. Again, technically this is the first layer and I like to use a similar tone of pencil as my sketch just because when mistakes happen, like they always do, it's much easier to erase and it doesn't actually stain the doll as much. So the look is gonna be very beachy for her face, like she's gonna be sun-kissed, blushed, peachy blush, everything. And that's why I'm kind of giving her more of a natural, quote-unquote natural lip. I guess for me natural is just pink, like not red. And of course her eyes needs to be blue like the ocean. And for her blush, I'm using my chalk pastels in a mixture of pinks and also peach and actually also orange. And to premise this, I would say I did go overboard with her blushing in the end, yes. But it's okay, we'll embrace it. We'll embrace the look, you know, the peachy look, yeah. I was actually about to give her black eyebrows because I thought that would be really cool to contrast her pink hair, but I don't know, I just went for pink brows. I thought it was kind of cool. Of course we're gonna give it kind of like an ombre effect for the brows, so the tails are gonna be a little bit darker and more defined. And yeah, I thought it still looked really cool. So as you can see, my take on natural makeup is still heavy makeup, but it's just neutrals, browns, you know. We're still highlighting the brow bone to give the Bratz face dimension, just because obviously it's not the most defined head sculpt, and I feel like adding the brow bone highlight really emphasizes it a little bit more. And then for her lids, I am gonna give her a semi-half cut crease. As you can see, I am smoking it out. And throughout the layers, I'm gonna keep building that white just because, you know, building lighter colors takes time. And then I'm actually gonna keep her bottom line brown. I thought that would be kind of cool and a little bit more subtle and not as dramatic as black. And same with the lashes, I'm gonna keep them brown for the most part. I am shading her under eye a little bit just to kind of define it just a little bit. And I think at this part is really where I got kind of carried away with the orange specifically, as you can see. I mean, it's cute right now, but I wish I stopped here. But I kept going, you know what I mean? And then I'm gonna go ahead and give her some freckles, like her 2015 reboot. I thought that was really cool. Actually, the pink hair, the freckles, this is my take on the 2015 Cloe. Highlighting the irises is just so cool looking. It just makes it more of a high contrast, and I almost didn't want to give her pupils, but I'm kind of making it a dark pupil in the end. So yeah. And now I'm just defining the lines in her crease over here, and I am kind of blending that in just to smoke it a little bit. Again, a little bit. And yeah. What are some of your favorite Cloe dolls? I definitely love the Rock Angels Cloe since I really like the Dirty Christina type of hair. And now let's go ahead and give her some sharp eyeliner, with black of course. And now using acrylic paint, I'm gonna go ahead and give her some cash lights. And of course, we have to highlight her to give her kind of like a more beachy look, a beachy vibe. And I'm using a resin metallic pigment for this one. I'm blending a white and also a glitter kind. So it's just really, really cool. You do have to layer it though, again. And now it's time for lashes, which is, I think, the curtains to the window of your soul. I don't know, but I'm using Elmer's glue all to adhere it, and over here I'm just using individual human fake lashes, and I think I used 12 in each eye. So really, these are actual drag queens, stacking lashes, using 5 pairs of lashes. I love it. And now let's add some shines to her lips using Sculpted Gloss Glaze. Because Angel's lip gloss is poppin', her lip gloss is cool. And now we're pretty much done with Chloe's face. As you can see, actually, in this video, she doesn't look that blushed, but when you compare it to her body, definitely. I mean, from the start, the body was a little bit more paler than her anyway. But face-wise, I think she looks really, really good. I love this eye makeup on her, and the freckles mixing with the highlighter is so, so fun. And here's just a little before and after. Now let's go ahead and work on everything else. For her outfit, this was created by the lovely Deluxe Designs on Instagram and on Etsy, so you guys should definitely check her out. She's so, so cool, and I love how she made this jacket with the branding and everything. I just thought it was really, really cool. The fabric, it's very, very close to an actual windbreaker, but like I said, the typography on this is just so, so clean and amazing. For her bucket hat, I actually started to make one out of faux leather, but I ended up not liking the look of it. It didn't fit correctly, it didn't act like how I want the bucket hat to lay on her head, so I scrapped this version of it, and I'm just gonna make one out of Warbler. The cool part about this is that it's gonna come out a little bit more cleaner. I can pose it, and have it kind of pose layering on her head, and it only took 3 pieces to make this bucket hat, which I thought was really, really cool. As you can see, you can just use heat to pose it up, and then when it cools down, it will retain that shape that you pose it. And you can actually kind of technically glue it together just with heat, but I like to take the extra step and actually glue it. And I'm just using this 2-part plastic glue that I got from Michaels. And now let's trace that to make the brim. So giving her a bucket hat was kind of a personal touch on my end, just because I love wearing bucket hats. So I'm like, why not give Chloe a iconic sporty looking bucket hat? It could be her take on a halo, you know what I mean? Because she's Angel. For the Off-White logo, I actually borrowed my friend's earrings from Off-White. Thank you, Jean-Philippe, for this, and I'm gonna make a mold out of it, of course. I'm not gonna use the actual earring. But it's really, really cool because it's right up to scale to Bratz. Like the scaling, it works perfectly with Bratz. I'm just gonna use this Easy Mold silicone putty I got from Michaels, and we're just gonna mix up the 2 parts together. And this should be done in about 10 to 15 minutes, and we can go ahead and demold her. And now let's go ahead and cast it with our epoxy sculpt. You can also use resin for this one, which I've done, but on camera I'm showing you the epoxy sculpt method, I guess. And this one is actually the resin that I casted. As you can see, it's a lot cleaner, so I highly recommend it. It's just a lot of waste when you're using the resin. I couldn't find the epoxy demolding. I don't know. This part is just all over the place. And I casted, I think, 5 of them just in case something goes wrong or if I break it accidentally. And I am using 3 of them, so I wanted to make sure I have extras just in case. The first one will go to the center of her bucket hat, and I am going to glue this with the same plastic glue, and this actually cures in 24 hours, so I had to make sure I put the silicone there so it doesn't create a hard dent onto the logo. And there you have it. Now we are ready to paint. First, I primed the hat with white acrylic paint just so that everything is completely covered and so that the colors will go on a little bit more smoother. And then I give it a coat of this light gray acrylic paint. And just to add a little bit of detail and dimension to her hat, I am painting on stitches with white acrylic paint. And I'm doing that all over her bucket hat. And now we are done with our hat. As you can see over here, it is posed perfectly. There's a little bit of dent in the top, so it looks like her head is there. I love it. Now let's go ahead and move on to her belt. I made these in Photoshop, and it was just whatever font I had. This isn't the official Off-White font or anything, but it's pretty close to it, I would say. And I just printed that onto the tattoo paper so that we can transfer it on a ribbon, a yellow ribbon. So actually, at this point, I was freaking out because I forgot to flip the words before printing it. So if I did transfer this, then the words will be flipped. So I had to go back and reprint the same exact thing, but I had to flip the text. And you just want to go ahead and peel off the tattoo paper over here, and we're just gonna slowly and carefully stick that onto whatever surface. It works with fabric, it works on your skin, it is meant for your skin because it is a tattoo temporary thing. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and wet this cotton ball, and we're gonna go ahead and wet the entire thing. So it's literally like, you know those temporary tattoos, it's literally the same exact thing. And then you can wait for it to dry, but I really didn't, and so we're gonna go ahead and carefully peel it off. There we go. And there you have it. This is our Off-White belt for Chloe. And then I'm just sewing snaps to it also, just to make it easier to remove and put on. The original belt actually has kind of like a black framing onto it, so I'm just carefully doing that with black acrylic paint. For the buckle, I am using one of these nail charm thingies, and I'm just taking the rectangle or square one, and this one is actually perfect as a belt buckle. I'm just gonna go ahead and paint it black. And now let's go ahead and put the belt together. And now for her shoes, the Balenciagas, the one that looks like socks. This one is sculpted by the amazing Gothic Zombie, Chayanin. Thank you so much for this. He's so cool. It was like done in a second. I had then sent over the file onto makethese.com, I believe. I couldn't find the power cord for my 3D printer, so I'm like, I'm just gonna have someone print it for me. Now, since this is only printed in PLA, I will go ahead and make a mold out of it and cast it in resin, just because resin is a lot more stronger and more durable. For the mold, I'll be using this Smooth On Mold Star Series 16 Fast, and this one cures in about 30 minutes, I would say, so it's not too bad, and we're just gonna go ahead and mix part A and part B evenly. When you start to mix both parts together, you want to make sure to keep track on the time, and you want to mix very thoroughly and fast because it can actually cure while you're mixing it. So have your timer ready and keep on the lookout for the minutes. Every minute literally counts. And after 30 minutes, we can now remove the plastic and the plate from the mold and the shoe. And I'm just taking my X-Acto knife and I'm cutting the back of the shoe, just so that if there are some casting mistakes here and there, it's a lot easier to, fix up. And of course, I made another one off camera and ready to be casted. And for the resin, I am using the Smooth On Smooth Cast 300. They look really, the packaging is pretty much the same. Same thing, part A, part B. And the pot life, like the mixing time for this one is 3 minutes, I believe, and then it cures in 10 minutes. So this one is a lot faster, so we have to work hastily. I actually poured both parts in the same cup. I don't recommend it, but I did keep track on the weight and stuff to make sure. And over here, I'm mixing as fast as I could before it sets, because it can literally set before your eyes, which I'll show over here. Isn't that crazy? Obviously it's time-lapse, but still, it looks really cool when it sets. And there we have our Balenciagas casted in resin. As you can see, you can kind of see texture on the actual shoe, which I really like. It is the texture from the 3D printing, but I like it because it kind of makes it look like socks, like the fabric of the real Balenciagas. So I'm gonna go ahead and prepare it. I'm gonna take off the excess of the resin, and I will be sanding the soles. And like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and sand the soles to make those really smooth. And I'm gonna go ahead and leave off the top part of the shoe with that beautiful texture. And now let's go ahead and drill the shoe. And after cleaning it up, we can finally go ahead and give it some paint. So this one was a mixture of so many things: blues, whites, purples, grays. I tried to match the jacket a little bit, and it's close enough, I would say. And then I'm gonna manually give it the Balenciaga logo with paint. I wish that for the tattoo transfer, that it actually transfers white, but it can only transfer in color. So that's the downside for the tattoo paper technique. So here we go, I'm just trying to freehand this logo. And now we're pretty much done with the Balenciaga Speed sneakers, and I really love, the sculpting of this is just so magical looking. I do want to give her another pair of sneakers. Obviously, this is a flat one, so if I take group photos, she's gonna look really short compared to Sasha and Jade. So here I have an official Bratz shoe. I'm not entirely sure who it belongs to. I believe it was from the shoe pack, but I'm gonna go ahead and turn it into an off-white inspired shoe. So this is where the other off-white arrows are gonna go, of course. That's why I needed 3. And I'm carefully bending it. And over here I left it overnight, and there you have it. I glued it with the same plastic glue, like the industrial glue, and it shouldn't budge after that. And I'm drilling a hole over here on top by the ankle, just so that we can have a place for the iconic off-white zip tie tag. And now let's go ahead and start painting. I definitely did not have a plan of attack for this shoe. I didn't know where things should go, but I knew that the color scheme is gonna be baby blue, a little bit of gray, and a little bit of white. Obviously, I was looking at blue off-white shoes for inspiration. Now, looking at this color story, it actually reminds me of a shoe that I used to have in the Philippines in elementary school. I remember everyone was rocking these chunky shoes with wheels inside, and they were big. They were very big, very Bratz-like, and people would wear elephant pants with them. So just really, really baggy pants with these shoes peeking out. So cool. And I remember asking for it. I don't know who got it for me, my dad, my grandmother, but we would wear it in PE, in school. Oh my goodness, we would just skate around school. Surprisingly, it was allowed since that school is a Catholic, very, very strict school. But it was very small. The shoe that I got was very small. I think it's for girls because all of the silver part was glittered. I'm not complaining though, but it was painful because it was a little bit too small for me. But anyways, who cares? And now to give it more of an off-white feel, I am gonna give it the off-white stripes. And for the zip tag, I just drew this in Warbler, as you can see, and I prefer this one. I did try other methods, but this one was the best out of all of them just because it was more durable. And I just put a hole in there with a pin so that we can bend it, and it actually looks like the real thing. And now I'm gonna go ahead and paint it with this cherry red. And then I'm just painting gibberish, literally squiggles on this just to make it look like there is text. And now let's go ahead and loop it through the hole that we did earlier. And it's gonna be up to Chloe whether she removes it or not. That's like the debate with off-white sneakers. Do you remove the tag or do you not? And now we're pretty much done with her other pair of shoes, her off-white inspired shoes. And I do love it so much. The colors are great. I love the pop of red. And oh my god, the arrows. Oh, amazing. Well, I like it. And now she wouldn't be Chloe without her skateboard. She was a skater girl. She said, "See you later, girl." Over here, I'm just kind of making the template out of paper for the skateboard. There you have it. Bam! And I'm gonna go ahead and trace that onto Warbler 3 times. Like the rest of the girls, Chloe had a lot of amazing songs, and I definitely recommend Only You, One Day, and Grow Up. And now I'm gonna go ahead and layer the skateboards together to create the layered look, just because I thought 1 or 2 wasn't enough and 3 was the perfect width. And again, we have to wait for it to dry for at least a day, so over here I'm just pinning it up to secure the placement. And after it fully cures, I'm over here heating up the edges with my heat gun so we can kind of bend it slightly like a normal skateboard. And yes, if you're wondering, I did think about ordering those finger skateboards because they even have like the make it your own type of kit, but I didn't think it was gonna be the right size for a Bratz feet. So I'm like, I'm just gonna make my own. And for the wheels, I'm just using these beads and some wooden dowels that I got from Michael's. I thought last year during the start of quarantine I was gonna learn how to use a skateboard, but I still don't. I do know how to use the roller skate and rollerblades, but I don't know. I feel like skateboard is just a little bit different and it's a lot harder. Like, like I've seen videos of people on their longboards and they're just cruising on the boardwalk, and I'm like, wow, that is so cool. They're even dancing on it. Ah, the talent. And using Warbler, I'm just kind of drawing the truck of the skateboard. And let's go ahead and activate that with our heat gun, and I'm actually going to attach it directly to the wheels. This will not be a actual rolling skateboard, it's more of a prop. So yeah, that's why I'm just like gluing it onto the actual wheel. Now let's go ahead and paint the deck, and I wanted to go for a light blue for this one. I made a mistake at first, but I will cover it up again with more of a baby blue. So I'm just gonna layer that up. And for the design, I actually want to give her the angel logo. So over here, I'm just using this paint cap as a circle. I made a mistake, but I will go ahead and fix that in the end. So I'm gonna give it a base of white first. And as you can see over here, I am covering the entire thing again with more of the baby blue look. And then because Angel's logo is completely white, like the angel wings, the background of it is more of a darker blue. And so I'm painting that inside this white circle that we made. To have a symmetrical angel wing, I'm going to go ahead and freehand it and draw it over here, and also the halo, and we're going to cut it while it's folded. And now I'm just going to go ahead and glue it onto the deck. Same goes for the halo. And before I glue the actual truck, I'm gonna go ahead and paint the base with silver. For the grip tape, I'm painting it baby pink to match her hair. And I'm painting the edges of the skateboard with this beige color, just so that it kind of looks realistic to real skateboards. And now I'm painting the trucks silver, and then I'm gonna paint the wheels white. And now let's go ahead and attach it. Now I want to give her grip tapes some glitter, because usually when you look at grip tapes, they have kind of like a glittery type of effect when you look at them, and they are gritty. And so I thought that would be a really cool texture to have, and aesthetically it may look realistic to actual grip tapes. Now I love glitter so much. One thing I don't like about glitter is when they are loose. So over here I am making sure that there's no excess glitter that's gonna come off of my hand, and I did my finger test right here and it is perfect. And here we have our angel skateboard for Chloe, and she is ready to show off those cool moves with Cameron. And like Sasha and Jade, she is gonna have some cool mask. And for this one, I decided to go with an angel shape. I'm just tracing that into this white pleather thingy. And the cool part about this is the inside of the fabric is actually the fuzzy soft kind. So it's really great for her face, since it won't damage the face up and it won't leave a stain. And here we have it ready, and I also just glued the straps in the end, as you can see. Really cool. I do want to go ahead and cover this all up with white glitter. Like, why not? Let's just go overboard, you know? And now we're done with her mask. Let's go ahead and assemble her. And now we're done.